I cannot imagine betting $100,000 on a game. Well, what was crazy when I was watching that Money Talks documentary thing on YouTube, like he would tell these people, he'd be like, all right, we're going to bet this game. We're going to bet 30,000 on this game. Right, he's like 30 East Carolina plus 7.5, 30,000. Then he wouldn't even watch the game with the person who bet the money. Like if you're telling me to bet 30,000 on the game, you're watching the game.
Have a seat.
With
There's
no, he's like, hey, I got to go take care of some stuff with the office. I was like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You told me this is going to hit for 30,000 American dollars. All right, you're going to sit down here and watch this game with me. And the ones where he is sitting down and watching them with him, like,
dude, I couldn't.
You talk about the guys going from like not happy, but like cordial to like super pissed. Like on the ones where
like, what kind of people are these that think
one
that
of them
the
was
other
like
guy knows what's going to happen in a ball game?
Yeah.
Like what do you?
Well, some of these guys like aren't even huge sports fans. They just they're like, hey, we heard about this guys at this sports betting agency. This is before it was all legal.
You got swindled, man.
It's wild. It's and listen to this guy talk about the games. I'm like, he doesn't know.
No.
He's like, defense, garbage. He's like, offense, garbage. He's like, they don't run the ball good. And I'm just like, dude, if I'm betting 30K on a game, I need you sitting here spitting out like, listen, 25. I
need PowerPoint presentations.
PowerPoint presentations.
Who's your assistant?
What are they doing on 3rd and 6 or longer out of 12 personnel when they line up in ace? Like, I need to know that.
I need to know percentages on personnel. I mean, what are we coming out with?
Who do you know?
What do we love?
I told you the secret.
What do we love?
Is the fix in?
That's exactly.
I need to know if you know that the fix is.
Yeah. Have we talked to the refs or not? That's what I want to know.
You're so on point. You're so on point. Chris Marler joins us to preview Week 5 of college football. It's another great slate. We're going to break down our top 10 power rankings for the NFL, and you get to pick a team too. And Skip Bayless asks, is Colorado's Black America's team now?
Skip!
I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to Crain & Company. Now, we're going to get to the college football and NFL breakdowns in a moment, but I just have to opine on what happened yesterday. Now, look, Skip Bayless has had some really bad takes in the past. And if you're in this business long enough, you're going to have some. It's just part of it. But Skip is literally the Babe Ruth of being wrong, if we're going to be honest. Now, having said that, most of his terrible takes have been either sports projections, flawed analysis, or his obvious bias toward the Cowboys. However, yesterday, he put out a question and had a discussion on Undisputed that really goes against the whole point of sports and is bad for sports. He said, and I quote, this is from X or Twitter or whatever, is Deion's Colorado now Black America's team? Question mark. Now on Undisputed. Now, Skip, I know you're being disingenuous here and you probably know this, but I want to remind you of something. Sports are meant to unite us, regardless of immutable characteristics. That's the best part about sports. And in our current times, if you're good enough, you work hard enough, and you catch a few breaks, you can make it. Your background doesn't matter. Because guess what, Skip? The ball doesn't care what color your skin is. Sports, in fact, has helped calm down racial tensions in the past. And it provides opportunities for people from all walks of life to better themselves. It also provides young men and women an opportunity for higher education who may not have had said opportunity without sports. Locker rooms and team meals and team gatherings help bring people together from all corners of culture. Because when you're on that field, that diamond, that track, the pitch, or whatever, it's about trusting the person next to you and working together to accomplish a goal. Now, when you're at a game as a fan, the tailgate or the party, and your team does well, you high-five the person next to you regardless of where their ancestors came from or who they worship. That is the true beauty of sports, Skip. Now, we live in a world today that is more divisive than ever in pretty much every other category. And we're driven to division by the national media and every outlet it seems possible of life So please, Skip, don't pollute the waters of sports with division so you can try and rescue your career, because that isn't why we love the game. We're not white fans, black fans, male fans, or female fans. We are sports fans, and we are Americans. So stick to the bad analysis, dog. At least with that, we can all laugh at you together as one. I'm bringing my co-host, David Cohn.
Yeah.
Don't want to spend too much time on this. There's too many great games to talk about. But I know that Skip knows this, and it's disingenuous. You know, and probably shouldn't give him the time of day because it really doesn't matter. But just trying to keep sports, one of the things we do on the show is try and keep sports about sports. Mm-hmm. Now, if men are trying to play in women's sports, that's not even political. That's just dangerous, man. Mm-hmm. That's like not looking both ways before you cross the street. That's obvious, and deep down, we all know that. But man, please do not bring this BS into sports about, oh, it's Black America's team. It's why. We're sports fans, man. I don't care. It's like when people are like, oh, I have this amount of black friends, this amount of Asian. I don't have black friends. I don't have white friends. I have friends.
Well, I'm glad you did respond to it because that was very well thought out, and I'm glad I got a chance to hear it. I'll just start by saying, and no one understands this better than people who actually served in the military, but when I'm relying on another man to block my blind side and protect me from getting viciously hurt, the color of your skin goes out the window.
I could care less.
And
man.
I come from the deep South, Georgia, supposedly a backwards, bigoted place. Man, when we were out there playing football, we were playing football. You know, now I do think a lot of these types of tweets are a response to some of the messaging and the marketing that Deion Sanders has put forward. You know, I mean, when he returned to college football after a Hall of Fame career, he said, "Look, I'm here to serve black kids. I want to be at an HBCU, and the I think he said the playing field is not level. I want to be at an HBCU, and I want to help black kids specifically." So, you know, and that's what he did, and that was admirable. But then he jumped at the first Power 5 offer that he got, which it's not just a Deion Sanders thing. This is what head coaches do. Bobby Petrino looked my father in the face and said, "I am not leaving Louisville for the NFL." He was with the Falcons before the year ended. This is what head coaches do, right? But Skip Bayless, I just want our listeners to understand something. Like when you see people like this and they put out this clickbait type stuff, we make a conscious effort, I feel like, on our show to not be disingenuous with our content or our titles, even though we could get more views. We could get more views tomorrow on something we put out if we were disingenuous with our titles and put out clickbait. And that more views would lead to us making more money, right? But it would not lead to substantive content, and it wouldn't lead to loyal listeners, I feel like.
That's exactly right. And that's not how you win the water cooler, as we say. Blaine, you know, it's, again, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it just seems to me now, like if you're having to resort to this, then you really have nothing else to talk about or be able, or you're not good enough to find something else of substance, as David said, to be able to talk about. You know what? I'd rather talk about USC and Colorado, and hey, is Colorado going to be able to cover the plus 21.5 because USC's secondary is a little bit, you know, skeptical hippo right now. But you're going to put this out and make the conversation trying to get us pissed off at each other when we just want to talk about the game, man.
Well, I think you're starting to see how important Shannon was to that show. Since Shannon left, that show's just gone downhill. Now they're reaching for stuff like this. It does not surprise me. Skip said this, but I think it's kind of an insult somewhat to black people and Deion Sanders. Why can't you just be a fan of Deion from the message, right? From the way he carries himself, from the way he coaches, from the way he treats these kids. That's what you fall in love with, all right? You don't fall in love with the coach because of the color of his skin. Mm-hmm. You fall in love with the coach is the way he puts himself in front of a team. As a player, that's what I always did. As a fan, you fall in love with the university. You fall in love with the coach. You fall in love with the team. You don't fall in love with somebody because of the color of their skin in college football. That's just not how it works. That's the great thing about college football. At no point in my life have I ever, listened to a guy who's probably never gone through it with another guy next to him in a locker room, on a football field, baseball field, but even thought about something like this walking into a locker room. Like, it blows my mind how people are already so predetermined to get in this mindset, no matter what it is, right? Yeah. The identity politics is just crazy nowadays, and I don't think Skip Bayless can't do enough to ruin football. Like, he can't, this won't, you can try it as much as you want, but once Saturday comes and that ball kicks off, Racism's out the window. No one cares.
Let me ask you guys this then. When you see Deion Sanders, like after I think it was the first win against TCU, when he has his press conference and he says something like, and I'm trying to get it as close as I can here, but me as a black man coaching 75% black players, that's threatening to a lot of people. When you see that as like the first press conference after his first Power 5 game and his win, does that not open the door to some of this sort of language and the tweets that we're seeing going on?
Oh, well, it sure doesn't help. It sure doesn't help. But even me hearing that, I'm not going to lead off the next day with, does Deion Sanders hate white people?
Sure.
Like it just, again, that's not right.
And that's a nuanced approach.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to find, because there's plenty of places you can go, turn on any news channel to find them talking about, he's just on 60 Minutes. God knows, the way that stuff got misconstrued. But look, even if you say something that opens up the door to it, doesn't mean I got to walk through it. My uncle gave me some great advice one time. He said, just because you can do something or just because you can say something doesn't mean that you should. And I think that is some advice that we all should heed. But again, and there's a lot of blame to go around for this.
And 200 characters on a tweet is not the right place for nuance.
For nuance, no, not at all. Not at all. But, I guess people say, oh, well, it worked. We're talking about it on here, but I don't think it worked for the reason that it was meant to work. I'm not going to run down.
That's an interesting point, because I think it may have, and we talked about this when Skip sent his DeMar Hamlin tweet. Like, he does not care anymore. As long as you're talking about him and you do go and then click on Undisputed, he doesn't care.
What did Drake? What did they say at the beginning of the Drake song Pound Cake? Only real music's gonna last. All that bullshit is here today and gone tomorrow.
And that's what I was talking about.
That's exactly right.
Why I was
Marathon, not a sprint, man. We'll keep putting out good content that helps our audience win the water cooler. But speaking about that, let's hop into this USC Colorado game for a second.
Woo!
Okay.
I do want to talk about this. We're gonna get to the Booster Club. We're gonna get to our NFL Power Rankings. We want to know what you think about your team, whatever in the sports world, however you're feeling. We're gonna start calling in at about 8:15 a.m. Eastern at 1-855-236-3228. And if you're in the chat right now, hit that like button.
Do it.
Totally free. I can feel the chat buzzing already. Hit that subscribe button. We're over 100,000. We really appreciate that, you guys, and keep spreading the word. We're very humbled by the amount of people that watch this show, and we're very thankful for you guys. We know how busy y'all are. But, David, when I'm looking at this matchup, we have to be able to separate Oregon and USC, right? You look at the spread. It started out at 24. It's gone down to 21.5. Now, USC is a better football team than Colorado is overall. USC is better than Colorado up front. But it's a little bit different. And the reason that I picked Oregon to win the Pac-12 and that we have Oregon number 5 in our power rankings is because we feel like they're the most balanced team right now in the Pac-12. At least I do, offensively and defensively up front. I feel like they're the most complete team. Maybe that's a better way to put it. USC offensively I think they have the best offense in the Pac-12. I don't think that's, you can debate that, but I don't think that's a crazy take by any stretch of the imagination. You have the returning Heisman winner. Sure. You have an army of wide receivers. You're good enough up front. They're not elite. I don't think they're nasty up front on the offensive line, but they're good enough. They got Marshawn Lloyd transferring from South Carolina. Defensively, I don't think the defensive line is bad. I don't think they're great. I don't think their front seven's great. I am, however, worried about the back end. Now, there's been a lot of really good D-lines that can mask a average, secondary. But I think Colorado and Shedeur Sanders is good enough to be able to put up some points against USC. The biggest question is in the red zone for Colorado. Can you score touchdowns and not field goals? Because USC is the number 1 team in finishing drives in the country offensively.
In the red zone.
In the red zone. They are the number 1 team in the country. So when you're looking at offense, 73.5 is the total in the over. The question to me is not is USC going to win. I think USC is going to win this game. I do think it's going to be tighter a little bit than the Oregon game was because Colorado can hang around in a track meet, and I don't think USC is to the level of Oregon's defense. But Colorado has to play almost perfect on offense. Almost perfect. You can't turn the ball over. USC may score on every possession. I'm not saying they'll score a touchdown on every possession, but they will probably get points on every possession that they have. So the only way that you can hang in this game and have a chance to win it, not just cover, but have a chance to win it, is if you basically score on every possession, which means Shedeur has to be perfect. The receivers have to catch balls on third down. You may have to go for some fourth downs you wouldn't normally go for, and maybe do some things on special teams to try and steal a possession or two. But I don't think this is as much of a David versus Goliath as Oregon and US
Well, we're going to see.
Colorado
We're going to see. I do agree with you on Oregon's balance. I think they're one of the most balanced teams in the country, and balance meaning twofold, not just offensive strength and defensive strength, but then on the offensive side of the ball, run to pass balance.
Complementary.
Exactly, and it shouldn't be surprising that Oregon has improved a lot on defense. I mean, Dan Lanning was the defensive coordinator at Georgia when they were winning that first national championship. So none of that is surprising. Oregon stayed on schedule so well in that game. That's what was really impressive to me. You know, running when they were supposed to run, and we've seen this Colorado defense for the last few weeks. Like, man, they have deficiencies, but somehow they're still winning games. That's what was most impressive. You know, not that they were playing like elite football on both sides of the ball, but they were finding a way to win those games. Finally, Oregon exposed that, not only with the quick bubble game, but then running the ball and deep shots and all this kind of stuff. And then on the defensive side of the ball, just being able to nullify anything that Colorado wanted to do. Now, Travis Hunter may have been good for a deep shot here or there throughout the game on a big play, or maybe a pass breakup on defense or something, but Oregon thoroughly, dismantled Colorado on both sides of the ball. Actually, in all three phases.
They miss him more defensively than offensively.
And I don't think that's a crazy take. Now, on the USC side, though, I think that Southern California has been hearing about how they haven't improved on defense, and they have the worst defense, and they're only one-sided, and they're not balanced, and all this stuff. I think this is a great opportunity for USC to come in and play physical defense and say, no, we want to do the same thing that Oregon did. We want to shut down this high-powered Colorado offense, and then, of course, we're also going to score when we get the football. Now, remember, Oregon pulled Bo Nix and their starters right into the fourth quarter. So that was 42-0 at that point. Colorado scores a late touchdown. No telling how bad that one could have gotten. Let's see what happens with USC on offense. But is a 56 to, it's different if USC scoring in the 50s, but Colorado's also in the 30s at the beginning of the fourth, because a couple big plays could keep them in
like 48-31.
That's different to me. Yeah.
Like it's, but again,
if you're Colorado, why not play keep away?
Because that's not.
Why not? I mean, why not play? It's the only way you win this game.
Just with
it's the only way you win this game.
It's hard to do that without running, though.
I know. I mean, if there's ever a time to get it right on the ground, it's against USC.
Well, I'm telling you, you're going into the strength of USC's defense. Not that I think that USC is this elite defensive team, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't hate Lincoln Riley. I don't hate USC. I think sometimes people misconstrue being honest are doubting somebody as like the translation for, oh, you must hate them. No, like you say all the time, if I want to make people happy, I'd sell ice cream and cookies for a living. Yeah. But I'm telling you what I think when it comes down to football, most of the time my ass is right.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking at with USC, if I'm Colorado, okay, do you take a page out of the playbook you did against TCU and supplement? If you're going to try and play keep away, the only chance you really have is through quick game in the passing game, but they want to go fast. That's why their stuff works, is because they do go fast, and it's your strength, your passing game, versus USC's weakness, in my opinion, in their secondary. So now you're going to cut off your strength against their weakness to make take your weakness against their strength. That doesn't make any sense to me. I think you're playing with fire there. But here's the dark side. I want to make sure people understand this. Here's the dark side of all the hype that Deanna and them have gotten. You don't have the element of sneaking up on USC now. Mm-hmm. Colorado is kind of, it's almost like a catch-22, right? Or a double-edged sword. Because it's great that you've gotten all this hype. It's great PR. But now you don't have an elite team, but other teams are preparing for you like you're an elite team. You're now somewhat of somebody else's Super Bowl. So you have the weakest team you're going to have at Colorado, and in that same calculus, you're going to get everybody else's best shot because now they want to humble you. Don't think that these coaches, Lincoln Riley and Dan Lanning and DeBoer and all these guys, they know they've got to recruit against Deion Sanders. They know they have to. Even if you're going to the Big Ten and you're USC and Colorado's going to the Big 12, they're all going after the same crop of guys. So being able to walk in that room and say, Prime got game day, he's on 60 Minutes. Let me tell you about the time we beat them to sleep 55-17. So don't think for a second that Lincoln and them aren't going to try and run the checkup if they get a chance. And they want that Caleb Williams-Shedeur Sanders matchup. They want Caleb to win that Heisman again, obviously.
For sure. Well, I'm saying, if you're Colorado, you have a 0% chance to win this game if you get a track meet with those guys. A 0%. You're not beating Usain Bolt in a track meet. I mean, they're giving up almost 160 yards on the ground.
That seems like the only way
they're giving up 160 yards on the ground a game.
So what's the answer?
And you have an experienced quarterback who can change the tempo of a game and still be comfortable. You have to keep the ball out of his hands.
So you're saying, so let me just make sure. You're saying, and I don't want to stick on this too long, you're saying they should run the ball, or you're saying they should operate the offense at a slower pace
Both.
when they've been
Both.
So go totally.
You do both. Dylan Edwards is a good back, and he's good enough to run the ball on
Well,
USC.
if I'm an antelope and I'm running away from a lion, I'm not going to flip on my head and try and headstand all the way away from them and change up what makes me good.
USC's not a lion. They're not a lion.
Compared to Colorado,
they're more of
they're
a
a
jackal.
lion.
All right, they're more of a
How
jackal.
quick
That's
do
what
they
USC
score?
is.
That's what I'm looking at too. How quick does USC score? Is it big plays all over the field? Because
They
then
mix
Shedeur
tempos.
gets
They
more.
mix tempos.
Well, Shedeur will get more touches, and that was one of the things that Oregon did. Was you had these longer sustained drive. Your best player for Colorado is over on the sidelines now.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things Oregon was able to do. I don't know if USC is just scoring at will, or maybe even getting in the red zone at will, but then having to kick field goals. That can make it interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're going to preview the rest of these big games with Chris Marler, LSU, Ole Miss, Kansas, Texas. There's a ton on the board. I mean, even Georgia going to Auburn, which Blaine wants you to put the rent on Georgia.
The rent.
Which is probably not a bad idea. But I'm going to get to the Booster Club in 1 second. Remember, hit that like button if you haven't yet. Guys, are you tired of wasting your money on testosterone boosters that don't work? Okay, we all know. All right, you get older, you lose that energy. You lose some of that T meaning testosterone. That's science, man. That's how it is. We all go through
Total.
it. Some more than others. That's why our sponsor, though, Nugenix Total T, lets you try before you buy on their supply. Get a complimentary sample when you text 231-231 and you enter the keyword Crain. That's C-R-A-I-N. Because, again, we get older. We have less energy due to the natural loss of testosterone. Do something about it, man. Get Nugenix. You'll feel revived, energized. You'll work out like you used to. You'll be able to extend the play on the outside like Doug Flutie, hit home runs like Frank Thomas. It's made with Testofen. It's a Benjamin Button. You'll turn back the clock. All right? You'll feel better. He's pointing at it right now. Look, wait, Blaine, tell him about it, man.
I'm telling you. Why do you think I'm healing faster than normal human?
That Achilles
You are
is almost
walking
healed.
around good.
I'm telling
You really are. It's
I'm
actually
almost
like
80%
low-key impressive.
You could go play for the.
It is low-key impressive. So get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T when you text 231-231 and you enter the keyword Crain. So the number is 231-231, and then the text, you type C-R-A-I-N, and if you text right now, you'll get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest and most powerful fat incinerator ever. Make that fat is out of here, mister. Key ingredients to help you lose fat fast and get lean even faster, absolutely free. 231-231. Enter keyword Crain. Texting enrolls you into a... Guys, go fast. I want to read it fast. Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consider not required to purchase. Message and data rates apply. Number one doctor recommended brand by primary care physicians based on an independent survey conducted by IQVIA 2022. Woo!
Skip.
That'll be sold separately, bro.
Skip.
Also, make sure we got some great merch. We have some new stuff. We're actually going over the designs today. So we need y'all to buy us out of the other. We're going to put the link in there. If you don't have a Crain & Company candle, if you don't have a shirt, Booster Club shirt, we got some new stuff on the way. We run a drop. So buy that stuff. Booster Club.
All right, let's go to Ethan Andrew with the $10 donation. Ethan, thank you,
The
sir.
man with two first names.
Says, rush yards allowed. Michigan 80, Nebraska 46.3. Do my Huskers have any chance to cover/make it a game? Currently stuck between wanting another heartbreaking close loss or a blowout like last
They're
year.
going to win.
So,
They're gonna
David,
win.
Shut up,
stop.
David.
They're gonna-
It's Nebraska's what, an 18-point?
Last time I saw it was 17 and a half.
17 and a
down.
half. That's still, look, I'm telling you right now, boys, the over-under is 40. Here's the question, David. How much is Michigan going to score?
I know.
This is going to be a slow game, and Michigan's not bad. People are like, oh, they're winning the way that they want to win.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's you can dominate a game and win it by 17.
Oh, yeah.
Like you don't have to win by 40 to dominate a game.
Nebraska's not going to score.
Who's Nebraska? Are they starting the mayor's kid at quarterback, or is it Jeff Fumble My Heart Sims?
Is Jeff
It's like Batchlenberger or something. I have to go back and look. But he had a
Hartensteiner.
26 QBR. Down.
Just run.
And it's Michigan.
Just
all right?
run.
The question you should ask yourself looking at this game is, can Michigan score more than 17 points? And in my heart,
Because you
yes,
don't think
they
they're
can.
scoring at all.
Huh?
Yeah, I agree with
I
you
don't
on
think-
that. I don't know about
Man.
the 40, though, on the over-under. But I do agree with your take. Like, I've watched Michigan win 30-7 sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? That was a near-flawless game. And I've watched them win 50-20 before, and I'm like, we made way too many mistakes that we
Yeah.
have to
God.
fix. So it's less
What's
about
that
the
like?
score.
17 and a half. Over-under is
less about the
39.
score.
What's that? That
Those
must
high
be
class.
nice.
Those Michigan high class
must be
problems.
nice.
This is a very recent. This is what we call new.
Yeah.
Yeah, haven't y'all won more games than any other program in the history of the world?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we're going 7-5, man.
Since the Roman
We're trying
Empire.
to Kirby Smart this manufactured adversity.
Look, I don't think Nebraska's going to win, but part of me thinks this is a 10-point game.
Okay.
Part of me thinks.
Ew, I hate that.
Part of me thinks. Well, a 10 to.
Why would you think?
It feels like a
31-10.
No, like a
24-10. Okay.
Like it's 17 to 3 for a while.
You are taking the under then.
Yeah, yes, I would much rather take the under than the over in this game.
Mm-hmm.
This game's going to be slower than
well, like either
3 fat people crawling to
I don't know,
to a marathon.
It's either that or Michigan just freaks out.
Which
Or Michigan and drops a 40 something to nothing.
Nebraska's run defense is very impressive. I was
Tony
impressed
White's
with Minnesota. I was impressed
job.
with, but the pass D is what I have a lot of questions on. I think this could be a J.J. McCarthy.
I think their rush defense has been impressive until like Michigan gets here and there's like, wow, y'all been impressive. Well, look at these guys.
Man, you know who's not playing
Hike.
football right now is Donovan Edwards. He's not. Now, I know people were putting out stats this weekend that, hey, he's actually has more rushing yards per attempt
reading it wrong,
than the
not
last couple
pressing
years.
the way it
That's
needs to
what it
press.
is. It's twofold to me. One, reading the holes wrong completely. Reading the blocking schemes wrong. That really surprised me. He's trying to bang stuff that he should bend, and he's trying to bend back on
doing
not
too
following
much.
his blockers. But then the second thing is in the pass game. I'm seeing him miss blocks as passers. And look, if you want to play running back,
Is it a fundamental thing, or does he not know the protections?
no,
that's
it looks,
two totally different.
It just looks like a fundamental thing. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a slow start,
Well-
you know, and obviously Blake Corum's the main back there. But that two-headed monster is what
Yeah, you
really
need
gets
that
them,
two-headed. We saw what
especially
happened with
when
Blake
snow
last
starts
year,
to come
yeah.
on the ground late in the season. So I don't know. I'm going to keep track of that and see if he starts playing.
No,
better.
it's going to be interesting to follow. Part of me thinks that under hits and that Nebraska covers.
I
Part of
hate
me
that.
thinks
I
so.
hate
Wow.
that. Let's go to John Edward Kliegel. Georgia and Michigan aren't the best 2 teams in the country, even though they have not lost.
I think you can make a logical argument for that.
I do,
I don't think that's nearly as crazy as some of the other arguments, but we here have and I think we've explained it. When you see what Michigan and Georgia are in 2 different situations. Georgia had to replace a lot more than what Michigan had to replace, right? You see Michigan brings back their quarterback, their running back, a lot of their offensive line. Not that Georgia didn't bring back some offensive line, but I think Michigan returned more than Georgia. The reason we kept Georgia number 1, and again, you guys tell me if you think different, but Georgia has shown the ability to not rebuild but reload at this point. I mean, look at all they lost off that first national championship team, came and ran it back, lost a lot off that team. Look what they returned defensively this year. You got guys like Brock Bowers on offense and Ladd McConkey and some other guys that they brought through the transfer portal. But I think what makes Georgia and why we have Georgia number 1 is that they, as the year goes on, get better and better and better. And Kirby develops teams throughout the year, and that's what we're banking on. So why am I going to punish a team that has shown me that they can reload and not rebuild, has shown me that they have some of the best players that develop and get better and better as the year goes on, and has won the last 2 national championships using a very similar formula. And you see Carson Beck, now it's his first road game this weekend, so we've got to see, but we're not going to punish teams for showing something to us and then not losing. Does Florida State have the best resume in the country, in my opinion? Yes, they do, without a doubt.
Yep.
Without a doubt. But John Edward, I mean, you can make that argument. I don't think that's crazy. I just disagree with you.
At some point, Carson Beck's going to make a costly mistake. The question is the rest of the roster good enough to make that costly mistake still not a losing moment for him?
All right, let's go to Sean Pennison, hashtag Ask Crain & Co. How will LSU's defense hold up against Ole Miss?
We're going to talk about that with Chris Marler when we bring him on. So, and we also, if you're an LSU or Ole Miss fan, doesn't matter, call in, tell us what you think at 1-855-236-3228. Those phone lines are opening at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. We want to know. We're going to get back to the Booster Club. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. But let's go and get into our NFL Power Rankings.
NFL Power Rankings. We've been doing this live roundtable style where the 3 of us take the first 9 picks in succession, and then the Booster Club gets the 10th pick. So why don't you get their feet chopping over there?
Let's go, baby. 10th pick. Be
All right.
ready. Be ready.
Who's picking first today?
Blaine, you go first today.
Ooh, you want me to go
NFL
first?
Power.
49ers. We don't got to talk about this for too
49ers.
long. It's easy
Okay,
money,
you're going
guys.
49ers.
Brock Dirty Purdy, number 1.
I tell you what, if the Eagles didn't play the way they did on Monday night, I'd have put the Dolphins number 2. I'd have put the Dolphins number 2. The way they played even without Jalen Waddle. I know it's still early. And I know the Broncos are an absolute disaster right now, but give me the Eagles at number 2.
You're going to put Eagles at number 2. So to me, it does come down to the Dolphins or the Chiefs, the way that they've bounced back after that loss to the Lions. And the Chiefs are always going to be fine. They're going to get better throughout the season. They have the best player in football. But right now, I am going to take the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to put them 3 there. I think that they, obviously, historic performance with the 70 points on offense. And Mike McDaniel has everything moving right now. And they did that without Jalen Waddle, by the way. But Tyreek Hill, the Tua combination. But also on defense, a good defensive team. I'm going to take the Dolphins at 3.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I have to go with the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Remember, in that loss they did not have Chris Jones or Travis Kelce.
Yep.
So they were not. All the Avengers were not there for that game, but now they're here, and you saw what they just did to the Bears. I mean, they basically the Bears look like a college team. So.
Is Tua y'all's leader for MVP right now?
Got to be.
Sure.
How's he
Right?
not? Yeah.
Just stay healthy, buddy. Stay healthy.
Looking in this, I have the 4th spot, correct? Looking in this 4th spot with the way they play.
Fifth.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go with the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Bills. Look, and I know the Commanders, Sam Howell's still going through some growing pains, but it seems like Buffalo's really bounced back since that opening week loss. Josh Allen's protecting the ball more. I think he's protecting himself a little bit more, not a ton more. I don't think it'd be crazy to put the Cowboys here.
Yeah.
Look, you sleptwalk through the Cardinals game. All right, it's a long season, and you know me. I was telling you, I don't trust the Cowboys, but when I look at talent, I don't think they're going to make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, the Cowboys had 3 offensive linemen out for that game.
Well, they did, but again, you should still beat the Cardinals. I just feel like they walked into that game thinking they could roll their helmet out and win, and they weren't able to do it. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills at 5.
At 5. I'll go with the Cowboys at 6. Look, there's no getting around it. It's a bad loss. You lost to the Cardinals. That's a bad loss. But when you saw the pride that Cardinals team had in the locker room after that with Gannon's first win, I mean, you can tell now that all the jokes about them trying to tank for the number 1 pick are kind of out the window. Not that they're going to have a great season. I just still don't think they're a very good football team. But they were up on the Giants at halftime. Now they've beaten the Cowboys. They're trying to go out there and win football games. And like you said, Cowboys had some injuries. Cowboys are what, I mean, they're going to do this throughout the year. It's the NFL, man. Anybody can beat anyone. So I'm going to leave the Cowboys at 6.
This one's tough. I think I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go with the Lions. Ravens, obviously in the conversation, but I love the way the Lions play. Their offense already starting off great. Trust me, coming a guy who has the sun god on his fantasy team, I'm happy about a lot of things. Their defense is starting to pick it up. And always been the question about the Lions is what? Their secondary. It's always been a problem. Getting better as the year goes. Big one tomorrow against the Packers. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be a great matchup. But give me the Lions. I think they're a more complete team than the Ravens right now.
Yeah. All right. So I've got number.
You are number 8.
Number 8. I'm going back and forth between the Chargers, who I know are 1-2, and I know they had to sneak that win against the Vikings with no Austin Eckler, and then the Seahawks. Like, really? I'm going back and forth between them.
You don't got the Ravens out there?
Well, again, Baltimore, I'm worried about. Mark Andrews doesn't look right to me. He doesn't look right to me.
Coming off a
they're
quad.
Not using him right. I understand that, but still, he doesn't look right. Look, I could sit up here and make a case for the Browns if we're going to be honest.
For sure.
With that
I could
defense.
agree with that.
With that defense.
The offense,
you know what? I'm going to go Cleveland. I'm going to go Cleveland.
Deshaun looked better.
Deshaun has looked better, but that defense is absolutely a nightmare. Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett, I know we all know he's elite, but good God. I mean, that dude is a monster.
Yeah.
But it's everybody. It's not just him.
Yeah.
It's just, do you trust the offense?
It was just
Chubb's
ugly early on offense.
I know, but if Amari Cooper can keep cooking, I like Joku at tight end. I think he can be a problem. Ford has for a backup looked decent. I'm going to go with the Browns, guys.
Wow, that is a little bit surprising, but that defense is elite. I still really do like this Chargers team.
I do too.
You brought them up. I like this Chargers team, and I don't want to penalize them too much without having Austin Eckler, who I think is one of the most dynamic football players I've ever seen. But guys, the more that I watch Brandon Staley, the less I believe in his ability to lead this team with a young Justin Herbert in his prime to the promised land. Right now, to me, I have to put the Ravens here. I'm going to put the Ravens here. Again, they have their own issues they're working through, just like every team we're talking about, except really the 49ers. But Lamar Jackson at least looks healthy right now. He's throwing the ball well. He's moving well on the ground. Again, the question for him is, can you stay healthy throughout the entire season and get back to that MVP form? So at 9, I'll put the Ravens.
Yeah, and look, I love Zay Flowers. I think Zay's a great tool, but I mean, OBJ's already hurt. Like, when's Bateman? Bateman's already hurt. Like, it's like the Ravens, they try and make these moves, but halfway through the year, all the weapons are gone. All the weapons are gone. It's like the Bears. It's like the Bears' equipment.
I feel like Lamar's not used to having weapons yet. Like, he's really not.
But what weapons does he have?
I wasn't counting on
OBJ. Zay
OBJ
Flowers, Mark Andrews.
Zay's one.
Mark Andrews.
Mark really hadn't
once
done
Odell
anything
gets
yet.
back, Odell's obviously going to be a weapon. I don't think the backup tight end likely's bad.
Him to be.
I think this Odell stuff's over.
You have Rashawn Bateman. Like, you have some pieces.
Done. I think Odell's done. As being like a star, like prime time player, I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can do it.
So you're like not a weapon at all?
No. Not one that scares you. His name, in name only. It's like before Voldemort got his body back.
I still think he's good enough.
So who's 10 for the Booster Club?
A lot of Steelers in here.
Steelers? I don't believe, man.
I mean, God, I love Watt. I love that defense.
There's some Steelers. There's some Seahawks, some Saints.
See, to me, the Seahawks got to go right here. The Seahawks got to go right here, right? Geno looks like the Seahawks are Packers, right? You can't put the Saints there. Packers just beat them. Came back from down 17. I don't trust Derek Carr at the end of the day, bro. Like, if we're going to be honest.
It's so hard for me not like the Steelers defense. Really good.
Really good.
Really good. What was it? TJ Watt?
Yeah.
Killer.
Yeah.
It's absolute killer.
He is.
Kenny Pickett's coming on. I mean, you got pieces. You got George Pickens. I mean, you got that little Ewok at running back up running back.
I love Jalen Warren. I love that kid.
You still have Najee, who hasn't done phenomenal this year, but I still think Najee's a good back. I think you can have an honest conversation about the Steelers and the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I really think you could.
All right, so where are we going with
I think we're going with Steelers.
Steelers.
Steelers is like if you put those teams against the Chargers, I'd probably still take the Chargers. But you got to go beat the teams. You got to go beat them.
Chargers blow it. They just blow it.
Yeah, well, like you said, Brandon Staley, I don't know, something about
I'm still interested to see the trajectory for the Jaguars, too, because all the potential is there.
I don't want to talk
all the
about it
potential is there.
God, they look bad.
Morale's
Ever
down.
since Blaine adopted them as a team.
Morale's down.
Blown
Morale's
But
down.
is your fitness a disaster right now? Don't panic, all right? We know you blew that New Year's resolution a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably didn't make it even 2.5 months in. Maybe not even 2 if we're looking at the average, all right? But working out is full of positives, right? It helps you sleep better, helps you look better, just helps you feel better. And as you get stronger, sticking to the same old routine can lead to a plateau in results. People get bored. I legitimately understand doing the same workout over and over and over again, but you can keep up that momentum and your progress positive with Fitbod. All right, Fitbod's an app. It creates personalized workouts based on your goals, abilities, and gym setup, while it helps you track and visualize your progress along the way, and it learns from your previous workouts and adapts as you improve. It's the all-in-one. You will not get bored with this. It mixes it up. It hits different parts of the body so you don't overtrain or burn out while keeping your workouts fresh and fun. So whether you work out in the weight room or your living room, Fitbod has you covered. Believe me, we lost a bunch of weight, got more fit, feeling good, and looking
now maintaining.
Legit. That's now maintaining. Am I maintaining? All right, so keep up with your fitness habit with a personalized workout program from Fitbod and get 25% off, because you'll lose more than 25% of fat. But get 25% off on your subscription or try the app for free at fitbod.me. That rhymes /booster. That's fitbod.me/booster, BOOSTER. Get fit, stay fit, too legit to quit. Go from fat to flat. And speaking about going to fat with a PH in front of it, it's time for one of everybody's favorites.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get Chris Marler over here.
Tell him.
If you don't realize, David
Tell
Cohn
him,
is really a 74-year-old trapped in a 35?
Tell him we're sick of it,
35-year-old's body?
I'm 30 now.
He's 30 now. So, David, who is walking up, looking at you, and G'ing off your L in front of everybody this week?
Social media has been ablaze with news that multiple females took the field in college football last weekend. First up, there was a freshman kicker at Jackson State. Now look, a white girl playing football at an HBCU, I respect breaking two barriers at once, but you're not off to a great start when you have a knee brace on your kicking leg.
What are you doing?
And the ball goes about as far as you'd expect. This is Sarah Fuller 2.0. It would have actually been more advantageous to kick the ball directly out of bounds and put him at the 35. But you know what? I don't want to make fun of these girls. Hey, if you have the guts to strap on the pads and run out on the field while your male peers sit in the stands, hats off to you. But stop trying to convince me that this is good football. It's not. I see people applauding this as a tremendous step for equality, but why aren't we treating the outcome of the plays with equality? If a guy kicker on your favorite team did that, you would be screaming for him to get cut at halftime and for the coach to be fired. If the performance isn't newsworthy when a male does it, then it's not when a female does it. You're just engaging in the soft bigotry of low expectations.
Bars.
Shame on you. At least Sunshine's daughter lined up at safety and rushed the passer. But again, the media noted this young lady recorded a quarterback hurry on a crucial third down. First up, it's not crucial when you're up 26-0 in the first quarter. Second, QB hurry is really a nothing stat. And third, where's the roughing the passer flag? I mean, you tackle a quarterback that late in the NFL, they'll Rumpelstiltskin your firstborn child away. Now look, football is the ultimate meritocracy. And if the best players are female, great. That's who I want protecting my blind side. But that meritocracy is undermined when we encourage young girls to play one of the most violent sports in existence against males, then tell them they did a great job when it's not true. This is not the Little Giants. At a certain level, football ceases to be a game because for a lot of these young men, it's all they have. It's their way out. And if you're standing in their way, girl or not, you will get hurt badly. Damar Hamlin was a trained professional in peak physical condition, and I watched his teammates pray over his body as he lay flat on his back. And this shouldn't discredit female toughness. You watch a woman give birth once, you'll realize they're the toughest people on the planet. This is about brutality. Football is an absolutely vicious game designed for young men to establish and showcase fortitude. And for those who seem dead set on mixing men and women's sports, stay off my lawn.
Get him out of here, Dave.
Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong?
Listen, like you said, girls should be allowed to play football against other girls. All right? Now, there are some men out there that are really, really frail and should not play football for the exact same reason.
Mm-hmm.
For the exact same reason. That's why everybody doesn't play football. This isn't golf, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, here's what's gonna happen. You remember that scene on Not Another Teen Movie where they put the little guy in and he catches one and gets tackled on both sides and it splits them in half?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's, at some point,
Yes.
like, this is dangerous what y'all are doing.
Yes.
Like, because you're going to convince somebody, okay, that, hey, let's do this and put a girl in there, you know, and like you said, it's third and 7,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And this at a college level, and you put her in at safety, and that kid on the other side is a 6-foot, 215-pound male playing running back that's trying to make the NFL.
Yeah.
And that poor girl tries to fill that alley to make that tackle. You talk about CTE, it'll be instant CTE. It'll be Drew Barrymore from 51st Dates.
Some people had to.
She'll just forget everything
Some
that ever
people had to walk off the cliff for others to
Like,
learn.
is this a Darwinism, like natural selection moment?
It's like you saw what happened to the towel boy from Michigan.
Like
in that game.
The argument I hear is that, well, it's dangerous for everyone and even men are getting hurt. So the females know the consequences of going out there and good for them for being tough and trying it. It's like, okay, but I need you to keep that same energy when one of them gets hurt that badly.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen. And I don't want to hear anything about the game being too violent.
No.
At that point.
No.
See, like again.
You can't have the best of both worlds.
Again, and this isn't like you said, this isn't a women aren't tough thing. Women are super tough. But can you imagine, hey, LSU's playing Ole Miss this weekend, and all of a sudden Becky Johnson's lining up at Mike, you know, and all of a sudden the first round guard from LSU pulls around and raps.
Yeah.
You know, came from nothing, had nothing. It's gonna be like you dropped a Mr. Potato Head off the Eiffel Tower. all for the sake of because it's just dangerous, man. Let girls play against other girls.
That kick sucked.
Like,
All right,
it was not a good kick.
I don't care what
It was not a
gender
good-
you are.
Sarah Fuller did
kick
that and won
yeah.
Special Teams Player of the Week. I kid you not.
Yeah, well, she'd probably kick at
I
Clemson
kid you.
right now.
That's what I'm saying.
honestly,
Just
for being
kick it out of
honest.
bounds. They get it at the 35.
Yeah, maybe I should try her at Clemson. That's all I'm saying. But speaking of a guy we love to kick it with, our friend from over there at Saturday Down South. He's Vern Funkquist, one of the best Twitter.
There he is.
One of the best Twitter names ever. Chris. I was gonna try and come up with a nickname.
Vern Youngquist.
The fun
Vern
parlor
Youngquist.
Marler.
Appreciate
Chris,
that, David. This
Chris,
is a
what's
big
up?
day, guys. This is a very big day.
Why
I
is
don't know if
that?
you guys know this, but me and Blaine agreed on something on Twitter publicly yesterday.
Yes.
Oh
we
my
did.
God.
Stop it.
We did.
What
yeah.
I
happened?
thought the Ukraine war was gonna end before.
What
Yeah.
happened?
No, that'll never happen.
His name's
What did y'all agree on?
It was a Tropic Thunder quote, of course, but it was something
Nice.
he posted, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that is the. I don't want to say what I said because it's probably inappropriate, but your audience won't care. It was like there was some music he was playing in the background of something, and I was like, I'm almost positive that's the same intro music and theme music from that fake movie about the gay priest in Tropic Thunder. And he was like,
Yes, Satan's Alley.
Satan's Alley. Classic.
That
was
may be
dying.
That may
I
be the
was
funniest
dying.
part of that whole movie. Is
He grabs his hand.
yeah, for sure. Like the music in the background's like, ah.
He's grabbing his prayer beads.
Yeah.
off his
Yeah.
wrist.
It's like, din.
Those weren't prayer beads, but yeah.
No,
We know, Chris.
yes.
We know.
But Chris, speaking about prayer beads, what can Mississippi State? No, I'm just kidding. I want to start with the LSU Ole Miss first. I want to hop into this, but just quickly, your thoughts on the females playing college football against men, just real quick.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. I'm not going to get into the Sarah Fuller thing because it's not 2020, and I thought it was great when it happened, and it's whatever. But like you were bringing up the LSU thing, there's not going to be some pulling guard named Becky that's going to be coming through, and if she's good enough to play D1 at offensive guard, then like I'm sure she's going to be built differently than we're joking about. I'll tell you what you all need to be scared of is if Kirby ever finds himself a 5-star female to play, because that person. We're talking about a chip on their shoulder. That he's going to rotate them off the D line. It's going to be awesome.
Well, there's probably
that
some-
person doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's like unless
Yeah,
there's
fair.
like somebody in Germany that's hanging
If
out.
Kirby's
up there that we don't-
recruiting, I'm fine. I
Look,
believe.
yeah.
Look, I
But
don't know if
again-
Kirby's going to other planets. Like, we'll see. I don't know how big his tree is, but
Yeah, with Lord Xenu. But
I want one of these stories to be actually true. I want one of the stories where there's no other guys to be able to kick on the team. They can't do it, and
She's
the girl soccer player's the only hope for the school, and they convince her to come over, and she comes over and she contributes to the team in a positive way, and they win the game.
Yeah.
I'll write a book about that story, but it's not true. Those kicks aren't good.
Well,
And every guy on that team won their local pump, pass, and kick, is what I'm saying.
The safety, the girl who played safety at like D2 or NAIA or whatever it was, that girl was ripped. That girl could probably play in a couple secondaries in the SEC. If you told me that girl
what
could
level's
walk on,
safe?
like,
that girl could play in a couple secondaries in the SEC. Chris, are you
I'm
out of your
kidding.
mind?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I was
Ripped,
about
I'll
to
say
say
it's like,
that.
what level's safe? You know, what level's safe?
That's true.
the level where you play against other females. That level.
Okay.
But LSU Ole Miss. All right. This is a game, and
Sneaky.
Chris, LSU's a 2.5-point favorite. I've seen it. I mean, the over-under keeps going up in this game. It started off, I think, at like 64.5. It shot up to 66. Now it's at 67 on some other places. Ole Miss is coming off that loss at Alabama, where they didn't really try and establish the run enough, in my opinion. I was surprised that Lane went to the intermediate passing game when Alabama's strength offensively is stopping the intermediate passing game. When you look at this Ole Miss offense, do you feel like they can move the ball against LSU's defense? We kind of saw a little bit of the recipe with KJ Jefferson in Arkansas. That LSU secondary had some communication problems in the back end. How are you kind of feeling about this one?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the secondary that girl could probably play in. That secondary at LSU is awful. It's been awful. And there's, there wasn't really a unit I thought like on that entire team that didn't improve somewhat in the offseason, like what they were able to do in the portal, what they were able to bring in from like just like a recruitment standpoint. It seemed like they almost got better everywhere, but then they have really struggled at both like in the running back room and then also in the secondary. And like that game last week, you can say whatever you want if you're an LSU fan that, oh, it's a rivalry game and, KJ Jefferson's great. KJ Jefferson's out there doing it by himself. There's no one else giving him help. The offensive line was bad for Arkansas, and it seemed like every single time they got the ball, they were able to score. And I think that's an issue when you go against an Ole Miss team. But the other thing for Ole Miss is like, you brought up the point that the intermediate passing game, that's not intermediate. It is not a word you ever have used to use to describe Lane Kiffin in anything.
Yes.
Right? Like
very true.
I mean, they lead the SEC in explosive plays. They have 34 total like throughout the season. They only had 4 against Bama, and only one of those explosive plays is a running play over 20 plus yards. And that's shocking when you have Quinshon Judkins in the backfield.
Yeah, and I always tell people there's a common misconception that like Lane Kiffin and Lincoln Riley and Josh Heupel and like Jeff Levy, they just want to throw the ball 80 times a game. This isn't the air raid.
No.
You know, rest in peace, Mike Leach. They are run to pass guys.
Yeah.
Like that's what they are. Go look at what Lincoln Riley runs a ton of play action stuff off gap scheme run game.
Yes.
Like power and counter and things.
Lane wants to run the ball.
Lane wants to run the ball to pass it and then take shots over the top. But when I look at LSU offensively, I mean, this team and the running backs aren't fantastic, right? They're not what we've seen some in the past at LSU. But Jaden Daniels, as far as now using the deep third, finally like they didn't do against Florida State. But you look at Malik Neighbors, look at the Brian Thomas kid, Mason Taylor at tight end. Like they've got some weapons. And that LSU offensive line returned 4 or 5 starters. Looks like they're starting to get in their bag a little bit. Is LSU, David, just an offensive team that has to get by on defense? Like for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's funny you say it because the way Florida State came out in the second half of that game, you saw like, hey, we're going to run the ball down. Clearly, they identified something that Florida State did in the second half against LSU's defense. But the way that now I feel like Malik Neighbors is so good and the way that Jalen Daniels is pushing the football down the field, they're going to keep them in a lot of football games the way I was saying that Florida State's D is going to keep them in a lot of football games as Jordan Travis and that whole offensive side of the football gets
well, I'm leaning to LSU early in this game. Just when is Mason Smith? When I'm going to see it? Harold Perkins going to have one of those games.
Like when's it going to happen? The over or the under in this game?
Man,
what's the over?
Because just the way that Ole Miss played offense against Alabama, Chris, and the way they played against Tulane, I'm looking like the under could be the play.
I think I'm weird. If it's in the 60s, I take the over because I feel like they're playing it that high already. You might as well just run the over because these type of games usually that happens.
Chris, what do you think?
So I wouldn't touch the over. I would definitely take Ole Miss. I would definitely take LSU because here's the thing too that we've seen the last couple of years, especially last year with Lane. That one loss turns into 2-3 losses pretty quickly, and they went like that was a team that was like I think ranked 11th in the country last year when they played Alabama in November. They finished the season losing 5 straight games. I said this the other day on Fandom. I was like, I don't think that this team or program has hit their ceiling. I wonder if Lane Kiffin as like from a maturity standpoint. And like, I wonder if he's hit his ceiling because what he did last week was pretty concerning. I feel like in terms of like you had a full week where like if you were gonna get Bama, you were gonna get him then.
Yep.
And I know that like posting about going to Pilates on Saturday morning, and we all kind of expect that kind of stuff with Lane. You know who doesn't do that is Brian Kelly, and that team is focused. And it took a while for LSU to get focused last year. I feel like they've already hit stride, especially on offense this year. They could be in for a long day because they scored 10. Like what Lane offense scores 10 points? Like Bama's defense is really, really good, but the LSU, they are. I feel like a juggernaut on offense right now. The way they've been playing the past couple weeks.
Yeah. I've seen Ole Miss slice up really, really good Alabama, better defenses than this one that Alabama has.
Yeah.
Now, and we put out this stat first, I swear, and then all of a sudden everybody started posting it. If Alabama wins 9 games, Lane Kiffin will be 1-20. Against teams that have won 9 games.
I like LSU in this one.
Like they say around the table, if you don't get the joke, it's probably about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris, we got an exciting top 25 matchup in Austin this weekend when the 4-0 Longhorns host the 4-0 Kansas Jayhawks. It's like, look, this isn't your grandfather's Kansas team anymore. They're proving that last season was not an anomaly. I mean, not only are they undefeated, but they're averaging more total yards a game on offense than Texas is with 463. They're rushing for 217 yards a game. And on defense, they're giving up fewer total yards than Texas. Now, again, I think Texas has played some better teams there, but can Kansas go into Austin and give the Longhorns a legitimate battle?
God, I hope not. For as like strictly as a Bama guy, that's going to be such a nightmare scenario if they go in there and beat Texas again. I mean, they could theoretically, but I think that this Texas team, you said it's not your grandpa's Kansas team. It's not your grandson's Texas team. I mean, this is a team like we kind of wrote this team off because it's fun to hate on. It's like I always say this: we're a nation of haters. We love to watch people fall for whatever reason. So we love to crap on Notre Dame and UCF and Ohio State, and Texas falls in that category. And this is a really, really good Texas team. And the defense has played a lot better than anyone is talking about. I think like they were able to play really well against Alabama. I think they had like 5 sacks in that game. Kansas, we saw this last year, right? Then they start 5-0 or 6-0 a season ago. and it kind of tapered off towards the end of the year. Going into Austin, this is going to sound weird, but I think that like you're in a unique position if you're Texas where you can like kind of motivate your team to be like, hey, it's not a revenge game, but like it's not a revenge game because like that it lost to Kansas a few years ago is still one of the most embarrassing, like probably blemishes in that program over the last decade plus.
No, without a doubt. And look, as somebody that picked Texas to go undefeated and make the college football playoff, strictly because I thought the defense was going to get better and Quinn and them were going to grow up. This is one you can't overlook, but I don't think watching the way that Texas played against Baylor, I don't think they're overlooking anybody.
What's this? I think it's a 17.5 last time I saw
17.5. Over
really
under,
respectable,
I think 64.
That's kind of a lot of points to me. I think Kansas is going to be able to score some points.
Well, Kansas is beat up after playing BYU now. If you watch that game, that was a physical-ass game.
But is Jalen Daniels healthy?
I think he's about as healthy as he can be
in the middle of the season.
Right now in the middle of the season with the way that they operate.
All right, Chris. Georgia versus Auburn. Does Auburn score a touchdown? Shoot it to me straight,
that
Chris.
sucks,
Give
man.
it to him straight,
Come on,
Chris.
dude.
I hate, like, yeah, they do. And I think that like, the main reason why is I don't know how. It's not with Peyton Thorne. I hope that kid, hope you forget him at the hotel on Saturday before the game. I threw out a stat the other day and I was shocked to see this, but like, that Auburn, and I think it's like kind of floating around now.
This is nuts.
But like,
Yeah, I saw this.
The 56 yards passing they had with 3 combined quarterbacks against A&M. It's the 5th straight game against a Power 5 opponent. They've been held to 100 yards or less in the passing game. That's unheard of. And with Hugh Freeze, like this offense, like we talked about how some of those offenses are like run first and kind of predicate off the run. Like this is Bo Wallace, the 3,000-yard passer twice in this offense, right?
Yeah.
Like in the Hugh Freeze offense. I think it's been really bad. Not just in the passing game. It's almost like they can't figure out what they want their identity to be. It almost seems like from series to series, they don't have a plan on what they want to do on offense. Like the fact that Jarquez Hunter's not getting 20 touches a game when you are limited that badly on offense, it makes no sense to me. Like go ahead.
The plan can't be throw it. You don't have anybody to throw it.
Well, it's
right.
Go ahead, Chris. You're talking about the run game. I actually think the run game's been decent.
Yeah, I think you have to he's your best offensive player, right? Like I always tell the story about how when Kiffin first came to Alabama, they sat there in the meeting after the 2013 game against Auburn, the kick six, and they were like, what are we doing wrong on offense? And he put up 5 numbers on the board and he circled them and he was like, these are your best offensive players. Get them the football. Jarquez Hunter is your best offensive player. Robbie Ashford probably is another top 5 offensive player you have. You need to have the ball in their hands and figure out like because right now nothing else is working. I will say, the one thing with Auburn that gives me a lot of hope is, and you guys talk about these lines a lot. They don't build those $1 billion hotels in the middle of the desert out of losing in Vegas, right? And them to be a 14.5-point underdog says something. I don't know what it is, but usually Vegas isn't wrong. And so I don't know, like I don't know how many points they're able to score. But you asked if they'd score a single touchdown, Blaine. I would think so because if the line's 14, I don't think they're only giving up 14 to Georgia.
Yeah. I just look, Peyton Thorne to me, I know he doesn't have the best arm. I know he's not the most athletic, but I didn't think he'd be afraid. And that's what I saw against A&M. I saw a guy that got any sort of pressure, or if it didn't go perfect, just folded up. And I hate to say that. Look, we're all fans of somebody. I want Peyton Thorne to go out there and do a great job. I hope he does. But I'm going to tell you what I really think, and I think he is afraid. And that's just the truth. But somebody that should be afraid, especially if Alabama will tailor the offense to Jalen Milroe, is Mississippi State. They've struggled on both sides of the ball. I know offensively they kind of figured it out a little bit against South Carolina last week. But, I mean, the State's 2-2, 0-2 in the SEC. Alabama looks a little bit more confident. How are you feeling? I mean, does Alabama end up running away with this one? Because I don't think Mississippi State can stop Alabama unless Alabama tries to turn Jalen Milroe into Drew Brees again this game.
Yeah, you have to apologize. This is going to be my ADD kicking in. But what in the WNBA is happening with this basketball up here just stuck on the rim? What is going on up here?
It's called the Force, Chris.
Yeah, it's
I love it.
Yeah. It's I've been slowly holding it there the whole time with my Jedi powers.
Yeah.
No, so to answer your question, I'm not worried about this game. I was a little bit surprised it's a 14.5-point spread because this Mississippi State team is not great. It was cool to see them kind of get back to, I would say, basics and what we've seen over the past couple of years. Because like when you got a quarterback that's broken every record in school history with Will Rogers, which is really saying something over the last decade, some of the guys they've had there. Yeah, maybe we do throw it a little bit. And he throws for 487 against South Carolina. I don't see that happening. It'll be a good test before A&M for Alabama. I think it's a perfect setup for them to go on the road. It's a hostile environment with the cowbells and that kind of stuff, but it's also like it's not as bad as it can get. So it'll be a good stepping stone before you go on the road at A&M. Bottom line, the Mississippi State has scored 1 touchdown in 3 years combined against Alabama in the last 3 years. And it was on the last play of the game of last season. So I'm not concerned about that part. I think the defense for Bama is really, really good. The other thing is this, though. If you're Alabama, you saw this against Texas, right? You go into the Texas game, and we heard Tyler Booker and some of these guys somehow how they weren't able to focus throughout that week. If you weren't able to focus when you were 1-0 going into arguably the biggest game of the season on that schedule, how are you able to focus coming off of a big, big win where you probably like the noise from the outside and the doubt you were facing was the loudest it's been in quite some time? So are they able to stack weeks and stack games and good preparation going into Mississippi State? Because I tell you what, this thing is hopefully trending up, and the way that like the confidence has with Milroe, especially, and the guys around him. But if you go to Starkville and you lay an egg, and you still, even if you escape with a victory, that confidence feels like it's probably fractured or shattered all over again before you go to A&M.
Yeah, without a doubt. But speaking about prepared, you're always prepared, Chris. That's why we love having you on, my friend. Tell everybody where they can find Saturday Football Uncensored from our friends over there at Saturday Down South. Tell everybody again. Obviously, Saturday is makes sense.
And it's down south, yeah.
And it's down south. But tell everybody where they can find you on social too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the shout out for the Yumquist thing. That in fact did not ruin date night. So I appreciate that, David.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. So no, it's Vern Funquist on social media on Twitter and Instagram. I always say it's fun in moderation. You'll like it for about 3 days and then probably go away for a while. So Vern Funquist on there. Then Saturday Football Uncensored is the podcast. We have new episodes every Sunday and Wednesday. Monday and Thursday. We record on Sunday and Wednesday. So check those out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys having me every time.
Chris, always, buddy. It's a great time. You do a fantastic job, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good, guys.
Thanks, man.
Chris. One of our favorites, Chris Marler.
Yep.
Go check him out. All right, let's get to the Boost Club real quick, then to calls, Dave.
MH06 says Lane has 10,000% hit his ceiling. When Bama hires him as AC, it'll be painfully obvious.
They're not hiring Lane Kiffin as the head coach. You think Nick Saban's going to go from a military style to Coachella? Like, do you really think it's not going to happen? Coachella, whatever. Burning Man, whatever. Like, I'm just telling you, that's not going to happen, guys. You might as well just forget it. There's a lot better chances Dan Lanning, or they try and go bring Bill O'Brien back. Get off the... Y'all talk more trash about Lane Kiffin and then want him to be the head coach. I've never seen that before in my life.
That must be nice. David S., where do you rank Shamar James and Scooby Williams among SEC linebacker duos?
I mean, they're up there. Look, if your name's Scooby, I believe that you're hunting around. No, look, I think they're in the top. But look, at the end of the day, there's some other parts of Florida that have to get fixed. Very interested to see how they play in Kentucky. We're going to be breaking that game down tomorrow, and obviously keys to victory on Friday. But let's get to calls.
All right, we got Zay up in Connecticut. Zay, what's going on?
Zay, what's up, man?
What up, guys? How you guys doing this morning?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, and I want to talk to you guys about how Jordan Love is the king of the North, guys. He is the NFC North champion. Uncrowned yet, but he's going to prove it tomorrow night. He's the best quarterback in the NFC North, and he's that guy. Packers have never had a bad QB as long as I've lived, so it's an honor, honestly.
True. Well, I want to say this too. I think he's kind of in the last group of quarterbacks that got time to sit behind somebody and what weren't just thrown into the fire, right? Or the quote unquote redshirt year. Because you talk about looking prepared. In every scenario, Jordan Love's been through a lot of different scenarios. I'm not saying Jordan Love is the greatest quarterback of all time, but you know what he doesn't look like? He doesn't look like he's learning on the fly. He doesn't look like he's gotten thrown into the fire. They've gotten ahead of teams, stayed ahead. I know the Falcons game was a little bit crazy, but they came back against the Saints. He made the throws in crunch time that he had to make, and he's protecting himself. He's useful as a runner, but he's also protecting himself. And I think, again, nowadays with the Anthony Richardsons and CJ's playing fine, but these young quarterbacks, Bryce Young, you feel like you sign these guys, you draft these guys, you just got to throw them in there and they got to go trial by fire. Jordan Love is a great example of when you let a guy take their time.
Well, yeah, I would say Jordan Love's played better than I've expected, but let's not forget, I mean, those first 3 quarters against the Saints did not look great.
Bad.
Yeah, but
they came out with the win.
He figured it out in the end.
We were missing, I'm sorry to cut you off, but we were missing 5 of our best players. 3 of them are offensively key pieces. So, I mean,
when's Watson coming back?
I think Watson's coming back tomorrow. I think he said he was going to play.
Tomorrow's a
Okay,
big
good.
one, man, because you're talking about the NFC North. You get the Lions, and you say he's the best quarterback in the NFC North. Look, Jared Goff can play football, man.
That's going to be a
So
great.
this is going to be a
Hey, Kirk
great
Thuggins.
I
matchup.
don't trust Goff. I don't trust Goff. I honestly don't trust Goff when it comes to crunch time. We've seen what happens when big-time plays, big-time games. We've seen Goff mess up time and time again. I do not trust Jared Goff.
But you trust Jordan. But you already trust Jordan Love.
I mean, I've seen Jordan Love come back down 17-0 when we were in the gutter. It looked like we were hopelessly in loss, and then all of a sudden, just resurges in the fourth quarter. Aaron Rodgers-esque. I mean, you can't. I mean,
wow.
you can't really get better than that.
All
Yeah,
right.
well, Zay, the best part about it is we're going to get to find out. And if I'm a Packers fan, I'm very excited about what I've seen from. He looks ready. That's the thing. He looks ready, and that's all you can ask. But Zay, man, call us on Friday.
Friday
Great call,
On Friday, man. That's
Call us on
great
Friday,
call.
brother.
You guys have a great day.
You too, bud.
You too. Shout out Zay.
Love it. All right, Max is up in Ohio. Max, what's going on?
Good morning, boys.
What's up, dog?
morning.
Just wanting to quickly recap the Ohio State game as a big Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Buckeyes fans that were kind of obviously glad that we won, but how we won they didn't like, which I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah,
I love to see us win a game like that, considering we don't do that. So, like, winning a 17-14 game where you have to get the ball in on the last play of the game, I really feel like it's going to catapult this team.
Yep.
And then just Kyle McCord leading us down the field that last drive. Something that, as great as C.J. Stroud was for the Buckeyes, couldn't quite do against Georgia. So that was a big thing for me. And then I feel like Igbuka doesn't get talked about enough. He saved that game in a lot of different ways.
I think Stover did too.
Yeah. Kyle's nice.
Yeah, for sure. On 3rd and 19, that catch was 3 guys on him, was just insane, that throw. But the biggest thing that I want to ask is, now seeing that game and that Ohio State can win that way with a good defensive game, what does the trajectory look like for the rest of the season for the Buckeyes?
I'm still picking Michigan to win that game because of I think that style of play is more conducive to Michigan. I think they're more comfortable. And I want to make something clear. Did Notre Dame screw up at the end and play with 10 on the last couple plays? Yes. Right? Well, was that stupid? Yes. Is that unacceptable? Yes. But Kyle McCord, time and time again, I thought, again, and Max, I think when we talked last time, I may be mistaken, I felt like Kyle McCord was going to start trying to force the ball down the field because Ohio State didn't want to play that slow pace, grimy, grind it out, low-scoring game, but he didn't. That's what would give me the most hope as an Ohio State fan, is that they showed they can win in multiple ways. And one thing we talk about all the time on this show, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, whether it's Quidditch or knitting, the best teams are the ones that can win in multiple ways, because every game is not going to go the way that to your strength or the way that you want it. Every game is not going to be hey, we're going to score 45 or 52 points, and if the other team scores 35, that's okay, or if they score 20, great. I think that said a lot about who Ohio State is as a team and who Kyle McCord is as a leader. But I will say, if they get caught in that same trap at Michigan and the game goes like that, I'm going to favor Michigan, but that doesn't mean that Ohio State can't make the playoff. They did the same thing last year. I think the Pac-12 is going to cannibalize itself. We'll see what happens in the ACC. You got to like Florida State. The SEC seems up for grabs. But Ohio State surprised me. I'm not ready to crown them yet. I'm not. But it did surprise me and gives me a lot more hope than what I had in Ohio State in the beginning.
Well, yeah, I don't think you have to crown them, but you got to respect them, right? And
For sure. I've always respected Ohio State.
I didn't walk away from this game thinking Ohio State's offense played bad.
No, I
thought they stayed on time. I thought Kyle McCord made the right decisions under pressure. I mean, you left a lot of points out on the board in the red zone. I mean, I believe you went for it on a 4th down, on the 2 or the 3, you didn't get it, had another opportunity in the red zone. Ohio State played a complete game. In my opinion, I think you went against a good opponent. And this is what it looks like when you play, when it's almost a stalemate against your opponent throughout 4 quarters. You didn't play bad, you didn't play great, but you played who you are. And that's looked like Ohio State football.
You played another team, you beat another team at their own style. And that, to me, is the biggest compliment that you can give a football.
And it sets up so nicely now because you're going to get Penn State at home, right? And then the Michigan game is on the road, but that's going to take care of itself. That's such an intense rivalry. Doesn't matter where that game is, they're going to be.
If you're Ohio State, would you rather this be a grudge match or a shootout?
For what?
For the game, like the way the game
of the year.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a shootout.
It's going to be a grudge match just because of the way the last couple of years have gone.
Okay.
Like, they're going to make it fit. Jim Knowles is coming in with and they're giving up fewer points per game.
They ain't going to play zero this year.
Like, it's going to be, I just can't wait. I'm already excited.
Definitely.
But appreciate it, Max.
Max, thanks so much, buddy. Congrats on the
Of
dub.
course. Thank you, boys, so much.
Thanks, man. All right, Kirk in Canada. We didn't get to him yesterday.
Kirk, what's up, buddy?
Hey, gentlemen.
What's up?
Kirky?
Oh, David asked me to call in last week, sometime this week, and talk about that Mike Babcock situation there in the NHL. Remember?
Yeah.
What happened with that?
Yeah, well, what a lot of people don't know, and I didn't know up until doing a little bit of research, is that there's only one NHL coach who's won Stanley Cup, international world championship, and an Olympic gold medal.
Gordon Bombay.
That turns out to be Mr. Babcock.
Wow.
So, that's quite an elite company. So that's why it took a lot of hockey fans off guard that he got hired July 1st, fired a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, like, what did you do though?
Yeah, you had to do something.
He was with the Columbus Blue Jackets, right? And he was showing the players' photos up on the screen or something.
Yeah.
Of what?
Well, this is my theory. Like, I can't prove it, but the NHL is a bit of an old boys club. Like, they got long memories, man. Kind of like baseball. And there's just stories coming out about how, for example, in 2006, Martin St. Louis, who's now the coach of the Montreal Canadiens, he was the leading scorer in the NHL the year before. And Babcock said, no, I don't want him on my Olympic hockey team. And there's just stories. Mike Modano is the all-time leading American scorer, and he benched him for the last 5 games of the season, so he couldn't get his 1,500th game in. It's just stuff like that.
That's just dirty, man.
What? Is this the guy from Saw?
What is this, a drama show?
Yeah, goodness gracious.
People have long memories. You know, they wait in the weeds for their opportunity. And
For sure.
Either that or he had the audacity to say that men can't have babies or something like that. I don't know.
Probably.
I'm sure the media would
I just want to know what was on those photos.
Yeah.
But
well, we appreciate it, Kirk.
Thanks,
Kirky,
buddy.
thanks
It's
for
kicking
calling,
off
man.
here soon, man. Kicking off. It's what, slapping off?
Yeah.
I don't know what you
It's
call it.
fucking off.
Face
Fuck off,
It's
Kirk.
fucking awesome.
October 10th is the regular season starts. Don't forget about 12
12 and a half, Kirk.
12 and a half. Flyers.
Don't you forget it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kirk.
It's like, oh no, I forgot. They won division by 10.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, let's go to Cody in Illinois. Cody, what's up?
Cody, what's up?
All right, who's ready to play? What year is it?
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Year, is it?
So I'll be reading you guys 5 clues from a specific year, and you guys are going to tell me what year it is. And once again, I'll ask you guys not to use any electronic devices.
All right, let's dance.
All right, so collegiate champion. The Kentucky Wildcats won the men's NCAA basketball tournament. Professional champion. The New York Yankees won the World Series. Sensational rookie. Mike Bossy won the Calder Memorial Trophy as the NHL's best rookie with the New York Islanders. Individual accomplishment. Affirmed became the 11th racehorse to win the Triple Crown, and rival Aladar finished second in all 3 races. Significant event. With 2 minutes left at the Gator Bowl, Ohio State was trailing Clemson 17-15, and Ohio State quarterback Art Schlichter threw an interception to Charlie Bauman, who was tackled near the OSU sideline, and famed coach Woody Hayes grabbed Bauman by the jersey and punched him in the throat.
Allegedly.
Woody Hayes refused to step down as Ohio State's coach, and the university ultimately had to fire him.
Was that
What year is it, fellas?
80-something, right?
It had to be, right?
Like, why do I feel like it's 82?
Hold on.
No,
All right,
that
hold on.
doesn't feel.
The 10 Years' War was 69 to 79.
70s. It's the 70s.
Years' War.
79?
79. Maybe 79. All right, what else happened? So Kentucky won the basketball championship.
Right. Oh boy punched oh boy. Affirm won the
Affirm?
Triple Crown. Affirm.
I need to phone a friend and call my mother-in-law.
So this seems like high 70s.
Yeah.
Like Woody Hayes, that wasn't like
Yeah, yeah.
1971. Like we'd already been to the moon and stuff by then.
Oh, hold on.
79. Who was the professional champ again?
The New York Yankees.
The Yankees.
Yankees. 78.
78.
78.
78.
78.
1978.
If it's a Yankees, it's 78.
Let's try it.
All right, so 1978 is your final answer.
Yes.
Yeah. I like the way you sounded.
All right,
Tell me I'm right.
It is 1978.
No! That's how you do it. That's how you find what year is it.
Who?
Should have rocked it. Yankees
Come on.
get up.
Yeah, that's right.
Deductive
Cody.
reasoning.
Thank you, man. That was a good one. Of course, we nailed it. Knocked out of the park. Unlike the Yankees. Well, Darren Judge still hits home.
Only reason I know that because we just got eliminated. I pulled up my phone and I went through the World Series wins.
Wow.
I don't want to talk about it.
Cathartic experience.
Yeah.
Love it.
Appreciate it, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. Interested to see how David Cohn does.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Played
it
really
was
good
about.
for me.
Who did you have this week?
Who do
Was
we
it
have,
out the
Cody?
road at Pitt or something like that?
No, we don't play Pitt.
God, who was it?
Cody, he's gone. We'll find out. All right, Smoking Gator in Tampa. Smoking Gator, what's up?
Smoking that Gator pack. Good Gator.
Good morning, fellas. How are you guys?
Good.
Morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. So listen, yesterday you guys were talking about how much better college football is than the NFL.
Yes.
And I just want to say that I cannot agree anymore with you
You're
gentlemen.
smart, man.
Because,
Screaming from a mountain.
yes, because the NFL, and I'm not just saying this because my team, the Bucks, lost Monday. It just seems so corporate, so bland compared to college football. Now, don't get me wrong. I do like the NFL, and I watch the games, and I love my Bucks. But the love that I have for my Bucks simply pales in comparison to the love that I have for my Gators. Because here's the thing. When the Bucks win, I get really excited. Of course, I'm going to be happy when my team wins. But when the Bucks lose, sure, I get disappointed. I get upset. But at the same time, I'm used to the disappointment because we've been an inept organization for pretty much our entire existence, with the exception of some great years.
We had
including
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
12.
Tom
Yep,
Brady.
and 2002, of
Lead,
course, when
Dr.
we won our very
Strange.
first Super Bowl. Now, when it comes to my Gators, when we win, I feel like we're going to go all the way to the national championship. Even if we lose our first 4, 5, 6 games, we finally
It's
win the
different.
first game, and I feel like we're going to do great things. Heck, I got pumped when we got our first win this season against McNeese State, for crying out loud. But whenever we lose, the rest of my day or night gets ruined, and I just feel like everything sucks. It just sucks. So yeah, I agree with you guys. The NFL is great, but college football is elite.
Yeah, and we love football. We love the
100%.
NFL, but like college football to the NFL, I'm trying to think of the way to explain
Well,
this
it's
and not
like,
get in trouble with
you
my
know-
wife. It's like college football is like your first love.
We're on the same wavelength.
You know what I'm
I was going to say the same
That's
thing.
like,
You're
yeah,
saying
I'm
right
not going
now.
to go down there.
I could say it,
Go
but
ahead.
you can't say
You go
it.
ahead.
Look, one's like, the NFL's like your wife. All right?
Your wife?
Your
Right.
wife? Hey,
You love her, but you know, it's the right time at the right place. You
Coming
know,
from someone
that's what the
who's
NFL.
never been
But the
married.
college is also known as the Great White Buffalo, right? Your first love, the one that got away. It's just there's something different.
What if you married the Great
There's
White Buffalo?
well, that's a different situation, David. Let's keep it in the confines of my fake
Of
reality.
your
Yeah,
existence.
of my
I didn't
fake
have a
reality
great
right
white
here.
buffalo. My wife.
All right, so that's
She's
what
not
it
a buffalo
is. It just
either.
hits. It just hits different when your college team wins.
Yeah.
You know, it just does.
There's like that more that local attachment, I think, and
Yeah.
it's from where you grew up too. Like we grew up in a college town, so obviously it's
The
more
traditions are cooler.
Yeah.
First of all, there are traditions.
Yeah.
That's what's the rivalries are better.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
exactly
better.
right.
Either way.
But Smoking Gator, great
call,
buddy.
man.
Good luck this weekend against Kentucky.
Thank you.
All right, we got Chad in Oklahoma. Remember last time Chad called in?
Oh yeah,
He got hot.
Chad.
Sooners.
The Chad.
How you
Don't come
feeling?
after me today?
Gentlemen,
There he is. He's ready.
I feel like he's about to challenge me to a duel
Yeah.
outside of
Yeah.
I seem to
saloon.
remember. You know what's funny is I think Friday when I rewrote my $10 again, I'm a college student broken on federal government aid. But Blaine,
boy.
it's okay
Oh,
for you
get
to
him.
miss my chat.
Get him, Chad.
You see,
Get him,
I
Chad.
think you said that I had the most basic name in the world. Is that what you said, Blaine?
Did you say
No,
that?
maybe
No,
I can't
did you-
remember.
yeah, but-
look,
but-
I didn't miss your.
Did it?
I didn't
Your
miss
name
your
was-
chat, Chad.
Your name literally almost rhymes with plane. So let's not talk about basic sounding names.
And planes are awesome. It was a huge trajectory for society of humans.
Little context clues. I wasn't talking about the flying instrument. I was talking about the description of something that was generic.
IN, not NE.
I know.
Now, guys, I also want to talk about this because I talked about federal student loans and the taxpayer money used to pay for those. I want to save the government some money because if you remember around late July, they had a hearing about aliens and if they're aliens on Earth.
Yes.
Well, I'm here to tell you there are, and they're on Oklahoma's defense.
Stutzman's one of them. Stutzman's the leader.
Is just killing it.
Yeah.
What's up?
I said Stutzman's the leader of them.
Oh, he's a freak. Now, I will say this too. Adepujo Adebore, get to know that.
That a boy.
Yeah.
That a boy. Well done.
On the right end. Number 34 coming off the edge. And, also a little precursor. Hope we're getting excited for next week, the biggest game in all of college football. Sorry, Cone. OU Texas. And I know there are people out there that think Texas has a chance. First off, no quarterback with the same beard as Mr. Tumnus is beating OU.
Look, Mr. Tumnus knew a lot of secrets.
I love we're getting Red River.
A lot of
already. A week early.
Look, Chad, I'm going to tell you right now, Texas is going to drop a 40-piece and a side of nuggies on y'all.
It just can't be to nothing.
Don't drop a 40-piece.
Chad, let this man have it. Chad, let this man.
We can talk about defense all we want. When Texas rolls in here and drops a 40-piece, I don't want to hear anything, all right?
40-piece in terms of points or in terms of penalties on the field?
Maybe both.
I might place a respectable bet on that next week.
Ooh, Chad.
A little respectable bet.
Look, a gentleman.
We'll go down the rabbit hole.
I love cheese.
A gentleman's bet?
A little gentleman's bet. Now,
okay.
I'll be honest. I'll be up front. It's going to be a little, the power dynamic's going to be a little off because I don't really know what I could offer you all, but we can work something out.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Don't worry.
It doesn't even have to be monetary. It's a gentleman's. All right? We know how that works.
You're paying. There's probably a pain requirement of some sort.
I don't think it has to be.
You see that look over there.
We always jump to pain.
I think the loser should have to eat a hot chip.
I don't know. Maybe one of the other guy has a caddy for each other for 18 holes.
That's a good one.
How about that?
I like that.
Hey, Cone, by the way, I just want to add, I'm real worried about Oklahoma State and Bedlam.
Yeah, good, because you're a smart fan. You should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm real worried. I don't know. With the 35 quarterbacks they ran out on the field, I don't know which one I like more. Do you have an opinion on that?
Well, look.
Bowman's 100 years old.
Look, here's my thing. The more Oklahoma State loses, the more I would get worried as an Oklahoma fan. And I mean, do you disagree with that?
Look, I've been let down by Oklahoma so much. I don't disagree with letdowns of anything. But
I'm just telling you, there's a big red circle. There's a big red circle. There's a big red circle on the Oklahoma State schedule, and it's around.
They're already just watching.
There's so many. They're out here losing to South Alabama because they're watching y'all's tape right now. They want to beat y'all so badly this year before that game goes off the schedule and y'all leave for the SEC. It's just, I don't know, man. And that's what. And we're just talking about college football to NFL. That's what makes great rivalries.
What did Rick Moranis say in Little Giants? He's like, Todd used to beat me in races all the time. We'd race to the mailbox. He's like, but there's that one time. That one time I beat him. All it takes is that one time. I feel like
in that movie Gattaca. You see that movie Gattaca?
Basically Rick Moranis right now walking.
Well, let's see here. We got Oklahoma. So before you play, you got Texas, then you're on a bye. Then you got UCF, Kansas. So you got UCF and Kansas the week before you play Bedlam.
I'd be more worried about Kansas than about Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I would too. Kansas
I would just take it one
Kansas
week at a time
too.
is what I would do. I'd just be worried about the next one.
Yeah, I just need y'all to cover against Iowa State.
Chad, call in. Let's get a gentleman's bet between you and Blanier next week.
All right, absolutely.
Chad, thanks, buddy.
Thanks for the time.
See you next week. Yeah, I can't wait.
Good. You want one more?
Yeah.
Let's go one more, 30 seconds.
Because we got Brian on the line in Indiana. Brian, you got 30 seconds. What's up?
Brian, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going good, man. How you doing?
Good. So first off, I want to add a call sign. I didn't do that the last time I called.
Okay, what do you got?
My call sign, it's going to be Devil Doc.
Devil Doc.
Devil Doc. I love it.
Devil Doc. I like that.
Yes, sir. So I have an NFL question, but real fast, I got a weird observation about college football.
Okay.
It kind of makes sense with all the parity you guys are talking about, and you can obviously see it. I know it's fairly early, only 4 weeks in, but what are the chances that in the SEC there's only 3 teams undefeated, And besides the obvious Georgia, it's Kentucky and Missouri. I just think that's a little – it's not your norm.
I mean, yeah, you look at the schedule, the way it's kind of setting up. Now, Kentucky and Missouri both got to play Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're still in the East. You got that division for one more year, so it can only last that long. But if you're talking about the last 3 remaining undefeated teams –
And they play each other.
and they play each other,
Kentucky plays Missouri the week after they play Georgia.
there's not an undefeated team left in the West, right?
No.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, shoot, Tennessee's lost.
I mean,
they are. Are they the last 3 that are undefeated right now?
Florida's lost.
Yeah. That is kind of crazy. Missouri beating Kansas State, man.
South Carolina lost.
Yeah, that is an interesting observation. Real quick, Brian, on the NFL, buddy, we got to roll.
yes, sir. So my question is, we obviously know that you can't normally say that the refs can cause a team to lose a game in one play.
Mm-hmm.
But I am concerned with the missed defensive pass interference in the Baltimore-Indianapolis game on Sunday.
That was bad.
Obviously, Baltimore could have done some stuff to win the game a lot sooner. I thought their defense played well. They held them for the most part of the game. But, I mean, when are we going to get to a point where there can be some accountability, where it's not just, they're going to have a meeting, the executives are going to look at it, and they're going to fix it. Like, when do the refs actually get to have some?
Well, you know, they say their answer to that was one of the most egregious I've seen since that Saints.
It was a bad call.
No call.
Yeah, it was a bad call.
But they say, they get graded and they'll miss out on the playoffs and have a chance to make more money, and that's how they get. That's not good enough to me.
No, I mean,
like, just if I'm an accountant and I screw up, they don't say, guess what? You don't get to go to the accountant convention this year, or you don't get to run the numbers in the the Korean Olympics or something like that. You get fired. Like, that's not it. Taking away incentive when you're not doing your normal job is not a way to punish somebody. And I know it's not easy. Nobody's saying it's easy. But if you don't like it, don't do the job. So
these aren't full-time guys, Kurt. I feel like it should be a full-time job.
I agree with that.
It should be.
I agree with that.
The NFL makes enough money for these refs to be
I agree
full-time.
with that 100%. But no, there should be accountability. There should be press conference. There should be question asked, Brian. But until that happens, man, I'm right there with you, brother. We agree. Devil Doc, thank you, my friend.
Great. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Blaine, Booster Club quickly as I walk over here to the bet board.
All right, I don't know. This will be quickly. I'll try to go as fast as I can. Tyler Hendricks, $10 donation. Does he start Lamar against Cleveland's defense or take a shot with Anthony Richardson this week in fantasy? Who do the Colts have? I don't know who the Colts have.
But I'd probably go Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I would go Lamar.
You go Lamar against the Browns defense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to Sergeant Saggy Nips. What's up, brother? $5 donation. He says, hear me out. Justin Fields to the Jets.
Wouldn't hate it.
How much would it
Wouldn't work.
Also,
the Colts have the Rams at home.
Give me AR-15.
Let's go to Mike RFF. It's a lifestyle, baby. $5 donation. Bear fans here. Not good, fellas. Not good.
Not good.
They play the Broncos this week. Gross. Do you have a parlay for me so I don't vomit while I'm getting a hernia?
Yeah, it's like
God, that sounds
two
terrible.
Ugly people kiss.
Parlay for you? I mean, I'm going to have to dive in my bag. Come back to me on that. Let's go to Blazing Grizzly. $5 donation. Go Big Red. I'm a little late, but was the first half against La Tech something to be worried about this past Saturday for Nebraska?
There's a lot to be worried about this Saturday for Nebraska. Like I said, I actually think Nebraska covers.
And what do you like in that game, Coney?
I'm starting to lean Michigan covering for the first time this year.
Oh, I love
Is it a Michigan cover first half? Maybe that's
that actually might be the play. I don't know what that is yet. I don't know if that line's out, but.
All right, D Holly 7397, $10 donation. I was looking at the matchup Washington against Oregon and the receiver matchup. I think Kareem Jackson and Florence on the other side could limit and give Washington receivers trouble.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts?
I'm more worried about Washington defensively being able to stop Oregon at all. That would be my biggest worry. We think Oregon's the most complete team in the Pac-12. I do think there's going to be a lot of points scored. I love Penix. I can understand that, but I'm way more worried if I'm a Washington fan about defensively being able to hold up and not let Oregon just do whatever they want. Not saying Washington has a bad defense. It's just untested. All right.
I like Michigan TTP also over 27.5.
Ooh, I like that as well. Feels like a 30-plus game.
All right, bets. One of my games got rained out yesterday, so I'm just going to wait to pick three.
Loss.
On,
Loss.
I'm going to wait to pick three on Thursday or Friday when there's college football. So tonight.
I'll do that too.
Yeah. Actually, can I postpone both my bets today?
Well, you want me to take three today? I got to take three at some point.
Actually, I went 2-0 in baseball. I might as well just stick.
Dude, I'm doing good in baseball. I don't know why.
Yeah. But I'm picking two today. I can pick three if y'all want.
All right. Hashtag live your life, man.
All right, give me Cleveland money line -130, trying to bounce back from yesterday, and the Cubs. That's right. I'm betting against the Braves. Emotional hedge. Jamison tie on. Watch me put this tie on. Cubs money line +130. David, what do you got?
D-backs hit for me yesterday. Might as well go back to that train again.
You're just fading the White Sox. Don't lie, it was the Diamondbacks hitting. You're fading the White Sox.
Of course. I didn't know that. I didn't think that was a secret.
It's a genius.
At this point, look, let's fade them. D-backs -175, and then the Phillies as well, money line -130.
All right, 2-0 yesterday. David, what does that make me?
Oh, that makes you really happy. Make me.
It's funny.
It's
funny every time.
I know. Let's see if we can do it again today. All right. Go Nerfy train, boys. Give me Royals, Tigers, Nerfy -130. I'm going back to the well with the Astros, Mariners, Nerfy -125, baby.
Ace. He's going to go Blue Jays, Yanks, Nerfy at a dirty -130. Then he's going to take the Orioles, -1.5 at home against the Nats on the run line, -110. All right. Miss anything? We good?
Good. Poll?
Will
Colorado versus USC be the most watched regular season game this year?
This year?
No.
Nope.
No. 65%.
85.
Ooh, no. 78.
Dang, Dave.
Yes.
That was up there. You were
22.
closer. Good job. Good job, Booster Club. Great job in the chat. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Go buy some merch. Thank you, Chris Marler. Had a heck of a show. Skip Bayless. Figure it out, man. Come on. I don't want to hate on you, but I will. Skip. All right, and like the chances, Mississippi State beating Alabama. Sorry, guys. We're going. Woo! Gone.